Hello, welcome to this series of short interviews 1 year after the 2020 edition of Laval Virtual. As you remember, quite a special edition, fully in virtual world, as you can see behind me. Today we are with Geraldine Perriguey, founder of XR Technology. Hello, Geraldine.
Hello, it's XR pedagogy, but it's okay.
XR pedagogy, yeah, thank you.
And that's a great mistake because I can talk about it.
Okay, first question, how are you now?
I'm very fine, thank you. I'm actually very busy and very happy to be busy.
Yeah.
So, all good.
Could you present yourself shortly and, of course, your company?
Yes. Well, so my name is Geraldine Perriguey, and so our company is called XR Pedagogy. I'm the founder. And last year, I got the opportunity and the chance to be a speaker at Laval. So I'm, I would say, passionate about educational psychology. I graduate in psychology applied to virtual reality. And well, we are working in the field of XR and education with XR pedagogy, obviously. And so we believe virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality should be easy to use for teachers and homeschoolers. And our goal is to help teachers and parents of homeschoolers feel comfortable to use these technologies. So that's our main goal. And there are two main things I would say we are doing on our website and on our social network. Is to explain what is XR, the risk associated, and all the applications available. We are currently designing and launching online courses to help everyone who's interested learn and use this technology and learn about the pedagogy around it. So that's one thing. And the other thing we are doing is to develop and create VR and AR experiences. So for schools and also for public institutions. And we are working from French West Indies, so in Guadeloupe, and our company is based at Paris, so we are in between. And so last year we talked about the use of virtual reality to prepare for hurricane. And so this year we are still working on natural risk and how can we train young people using virtual reality, because since we are in Guadeloupe, French West Indies, we are very prone to different natural risks. So that's our value for the local place. And yeah, I think that's about everything we are doing.
Just a question about your project. You say you talked last year in 2020 about a very interesting project to prepare young people to face natural disaster. What news about this project? It works now?
Yes. So last year, yeah, we present this concrete example of a VR-based training for hurricane. It was like for hurricane preparedness and all the challenge encountered. So it was a prototype of a serious game in VR. And the idea was to assess how the use of VR could help educate about the hurricane risk and hurricane preparedness, but also work on the denial of danger on teenagers. So we, since Laval, and we are very, very glad we were able to speak about that, but because we had so many institutions and people came to us to speak about that project. So for the moment, the project is still prototype. However, we've been working both with local institutions here in Guadeloupe to develop. So currently we are developing VR experience, but it's time to work on earthquake preparedness. And it will be used for the next month, in a few months, sorry, in November. So we were working with that, and we are working also with the French Red Cross locally to develop other experience in VR with the use of to prepare for natural risk. So it was a very important step for us to have this prototype to demonstrate the potential we can have with it. And we are still working on a research project. So the idea with this project was to develop a full research project on it, to work on the denial of danger. And then we develop experiences for local institutions for other natural risk, because it was more of a priority to work on earthquake for now here in Guadeloupe.
Okay. In the 2020 edition, this project was presented in the VR for a Cause category, but as you mentioned just now, you are really deeply involved in education, and especially in student engagement. 2020 was not special, really terrible year for education. What kind of change have you seen in this field linked to immersive technology?
Many changes, actually. Well, in our field, which is XR and education, everything went very fast. From education for everything. I mean, not only education in school, education to educate people in an enterprise, to educate people for natural risk, so everyone have to face and to adapt, to face this problem and to adapt. What we've seen is a very fast engagement in the test of this technology. So basically, most of our clients for the online course are based in USA or in Canada. And over there, we've seen an increase in the adoption of virtual reality because the fact of teaching, distance teaching, and the fact that everybody was locked on a home leads to a problem called the Zoom fatigue, because most of the children or student and teacher needs to use this kind of software to be able to continue their work. And I guess also psychologically it was intense, and virtual reality appears as a good answer for that. So to us, it was amazing how fast it went, because it exceeded expectations in all the aspects of the technology. And that on the good side, it's great because many people have the opportunity to test the fantastic opportunity that represent those technology. For instance, the sense of presence, and it provides a great possibility for the student to fight against loneliness. I remember a teacher who actually is a teacher for university, and it did just decide last year, well, a little bit after Laval Virtual, it decided to try to use the VR to teach. So on his own initiative, it decided, like, for 2 weeks, it took him 2 weeks, and all his course he was having from computer moved to software, to be all together in virtual reality. So he used AdSpace VR in this occasion. And actually, after that, the president of the university noticed so many great consequences, so many great results. All the students were very happy not to feel alone in their rooms and to feel happy together in VR. So they decide to invest in a virtual reality lab at this university. And I think that's a great example of what's happened. But on the other side, the problems were that when you go very fast to adopt a technology that we still don't get all the frontier, I would say, it leads also to some difficulties and probably, well, we go fast also on problems. So, but I think it was very great to see all these people trying, just testing, all these teachers just trying to find solutions and trying to use this technology and see what it gives. And I think for us, that was a great opportunity that these crises bring, the possibility for teacher to try.
As you say, you are on French West Indies, so between USA and Europe. Have you seen the same feeling, the same need to test in both continents?
Well, it's very difficult for me to read exactly what's happened at the scale of a country, but I wish I could. But I think I've seen, well, in US or in Canada, many people bought the Oculus Quest 2, this new VR headsets, especially last Christmas. So this adoption in the hardware leads to behaviors, and especially they were looking for things to do with this amazing tool. And that one thing. In France, I think there were this very promising wish to adopt this technology, and I guess the fact that the price of the hardware decreased, it also helps. But I think by culture, we are more precautionous, I would say. But many great university continue their efforts they were doing for a few years, and since it was more popular, it was easier for them to speak about it. I would say, I would probably give an example, because very recently we won a challenge. We are going to develop a full XR experience for a vocational high school here in Guadeloupe. And we will use XR technology to ease the teaching of construction trades and let's say streamline the process, allowing young students to become familiar with all these industrial machines. And what was amazing is that when we start this challenge, well, we were participating and we answered this challenge with a local Ministry of Education here in Guadeloupe. We visit different high schools here in Guadeloupe and talk to different head of the school. And when we start to speak about VR, we thought like maybe we should explain what is it and tell them the potential and everything. And actually, we were in this vocational high school in the middle of a little city in Guadeloupe, and the head of the school said, yeah, we know VR. We actually have a VR headset and we're already trying. And I feel ashamed that for a moment, I thought like, nobody knew VR, and actually it is not the case anymore. Like many people know what is VR, what is AR, and maybe it's not quite the same as US, because in France we're still looking for what are the best, when are the best situation, and when is the must have technology, in which educational situation it is very important to use. So we are still working on that here in France, where in US, I guess the culture is more to try and see. But this school already had their VR headset, already work with it. And they were actually looking for someone helping them to build the gap and to integrate the curriculum. So this is what we are going to do for the next 18 months, working with them to develop this great mix of augmented reality and virtual reality, and when to use it, and when it is absolutely necessary to use this technology, and when video would work. And it was super important to describe to them what would be the role of the teacher in this whole process. So
yeah, for you, the evolution of education is more difficult for students, for teachers, both?
I think obviously for both. To me, this past year was a huge challenge to keep on educate our children, to keep on working for everyone. But in terms regarding education, it was a huge challenge. It was very hard all over the world for a teacher to overcome the technological problems. But at the same time, this is what show us what we need to work on very fast, very hard. Like for us in Guadeloupe, like internet connections, network is a big issues, and especially because we are prone to natural risk. Every time we work on our structure or infrastructure, we need to do it again. So I think it was very hard for teacher to keep on working in a good condition, no matter the technical issue was. It was very hard for them to learn to use new tools very fast, even though they're not used to it. And it was very hard, I think, for teacher also to describe what I felt. It's not the same to teach virtually than to teach directly in the presence of students. It's different. And you need to adapt your pedagogy. You need to adapt the way you are doing. You need to work on engagement. You need to make sure that students will have the exercise you are giving. And I think that's a huge step and a big problem they needed to face. So it was very hard for them all over the world. And everyone's find different solutions. For instance, I remember last year, I've heard about a big story in India where a teacher decided to use augmented reality and to film herself using augmented reality and making big animals appearing, and to be able to increase engagement of their student, kind of tired just to look at someone speaking in front of the computer. So that's one thing, the challenge of the teacher and for students. I think it was also super hard for them because for once in a while, everything is changing for them. And we know for a fact that for children, it's super important to have this security, this feeling of feeling secured, like be able to feel secure. And I think the problem in education last year was how can we make them feel still secure? And I don't mean in terms of their health state, but more like I'm going to go there using these computers and meeting people digitally and not being able to see anyone else in reality. And I would be alone. And I think that was the huge challenge for them to still be engaged in learning, still continue to, having fun, even though they were just looking at a computer, or even though they were maybe probably only the parents helping them. And I guess this is the loneliness they needed to face. It was that for the youngest children, and for the oldest one, I was very sad to hear many high school students telling me that they didn't want to go further in education because there is too much uncertainty. And for them, it was like, we don't know if there is another problem, if our teacher would be able to teach to us again. And so what's the point studying? And I guess that was the missing part. It was letting them know that it is an opportunity. There's always an opportunity in any crisis. And I think that's the big problem. It was very hard for students to be able to see that, because as adults, we have this capacity to see the big picture, to see that eventually at some point we'll go over that, because we've been through many things, we are older. But for them, it's just the whole world is missing. The school is 90% of your time when you're a child. And so from that part, I think it was very hard for them to see that it's not your whole world which is collapsing. It's just for the moment, and it's just part of it. So there is a huge opportunity for you to create solutions, a huge opportunity for you to imagine your future job and to look for, the university you want to go next. Because yes, it may be difficult, but it may be a great opportunity for you to create new jobs.
And do you think now, if we see in a close future, it could be also an opportunity for immersive technology to find the right place in education, because now we have choice to use it. Last year it was not the case, of course. We hopefully lockdowns are behind us. So now, what's going on now? We have education have to find the right, how can I say, balance between the use of immersive technology, the use of distance teaching, and the use of classical teaching in a classroom.
I think we're definitely in a transition phase. And as any transition phase, it might feel uncomfortable. So it is uncomfortable. I would say it will be still uncomfortable for a few years, or hopefully not too long, by the time we find this balance. And this balance, I guess, may happen when we will have experiments some extreme, and probably it would mean a full VR option, and then a full presential option, and then mixed of both of it. Maybe as you are doing at Laval, like last year was totally virtual, and this year will be hybrid. So I guess this is transition right now, but I believe the crucial point is to define the new roles of each protagonist in education. So the new role of teacher. So what is the role of teacher in this story? And we don't want the teacher being out of the story and the technology take it all. And this is why we are very working very hard here at XR Pedagogy to make sure that the teacher is well informed, well educated about how to use this technology to be able to play this role and not to be out of the game. And for the students would be, how can he take advantage? Because it will have a huge task in the future, the students of today, to explain that they grow up in a world where virtually and virtually world were already existing. And we can't understand that because we grew up in a world where it wasn't possible. But for them, it's not about internet. Today, they can, just take this VR headset and meet some friends and organize events, even though they are under 18, and even create company, speak about it in virtually, take the appearance of a frog if they feel like, and learn about experts in astronomy over there in virtual reality, or even speak stupid things and record themselves and show it many times. But this is their generation, and tomorrow they will have to explain to us that they grow up with that. So for them, virtual world and reality just exist with the same importance. And I think that will be the challenge for this generation, and in education will be to explain that it is part of their game. It's like for us today, if you tell the children that is going to learn at home or at school without using internet, it wouldn't make sense for them. They say, how come I wouldn't use this great technology since it's here? And already we have some students saying, like, what the point listening to a teacher if I've got all the answer from Google? Okay, and that shocked us, because we know the power of a teacher. We know how important is the teacher and how much the teacher brings to education, which is far beyond Google. But for them, sometimes it's confusing. And I think in the future, this is what we are going to see. They will be used to virtual reality. They will be used to this immersive technology, to the fact that wherever you are going, some digital information can appear and help you for your choice, for your understanding and everything. Or you can just go in VR and test things, bring everything you want in your world and everything. They will work with that. So we really work very fast and very hard on the new role of all these protagonists. Otherwise, there will be a confusion because the technology went so fast that us as a human, will be behind, and there will be big gap in generation. I don't know if I answer correctly the question.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. We think there is not a revolution, as you say, but a deep evolution in the few years, and it's been very interesting. Just to conclude, what are the next steps for you and for XR Pedagogy?
Oh, we are super excited because every year we are planning many things and nothing happens as planned. It's even better. The next step for us there, we are working on, we want to keep working on natural risk or VR for good research, and we'll keep designing experiences. So both in VR and in AR, because we believe that we can't teach to parents or also to teachers how to use this technology if we don't confront ourselves to the fact of building, creating, teaching as well. So we'll keep doing and creating nice virtual experience. We are currently working as well to the participation of a book. So really to translate our value in pedagogy and in psychopedagogy, which is educational psychology. I really want to share my thought about that and how we can take advantage of the change bring by virtual reality to make a new school in virtual, take the opportunity to this technology to change education, like the change we all want in education can happen. So how can we avoid to do the same mistakes? So we are going to speak a bit more for the next years. And yeah, we are trying to list all the nice applications on our website that can be used for education. So we'll continue doing that, and we hope bring more and more value on our website for people to learn about that and to be able to find the information they need.
It's great work.
That's okay. We are hiring. So
Thank
maybe
you,
I can
Geraldine.
let I can say a little message, because we are looking for developers specialized in Unity 3D. So we are currently working with one talented person, but if anyone wants to look for a job in this field, we are working remotely, or even a placement is fine. So
the position is open now.
If you can spread the message.
Yeah, thank you, Geraldine. I hope to see you in Laval Virtual in July, in the Laval Virtual World, in Laval, in the city of Laval, or something like that, between these two places.
In the metaverse.
Yeah, in the metaverse.
I just want to say thank you so much last year for inviting me to speak. It was a huge opportunity for us to speak from Guadeloupe to all over the world, and we have really appreciated it. So I really encourage everyone to go to Laval, because this is great. You meet amazing people, you have fun, you can play soccer with people from everywhere. This is great. So thank you so much for inviting me last year, and for sure I will be there this year.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.